Hey everybody, welcome to I Plead the First. Today's episode, we are looking back on the last 50 days since we started the channel. So this should be fun. I will see you on the other side.
American dream, I plead the first. White shirt, blue jeans, I bleed the verse. American...
Hello everybody, welcome to your Friday episode of I Plead the First. And we are here, we're going to do a little bit of a quick review of the last 50 days of the channel and see what has changed. Hi, Kristina.
Hello, happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you.
So 50 days.
Yeah.
So it's funny because how much crap has happened in the world in 50 days?
A lot.
And we've been able to talk every 3 or 4 times a week on the crap that's happened, which is just insane.
We
Usually
talked about a lot of different things.
You can go 2 3 months and not have crap happen, but we've been able to talk a lot. So
Yeah, it's never like a challenge for me, at least, to be like, oh, what am I going to talk about on today's show? It's more like what am I going to talk about? There's so much to talk about.
Yeah. What's in the news? And
Right.
there's all kinds of new stuff.
Right.
So how many days is that into Biden's, not to slam Biden, but really, if you think about how many days is he in there now? So January 20th, right?
He's got to be right around, he's got to be just over 60 days because we started our channel at the beginning of February.
Right.
It might have been maybe the very end of January. I would have to look and see. Let me see. Let me see the channel and see when we started popping videos up.
I'm going to play with these filters while you're doing that. This is new for me.
You do that. You play with the filters. So yeah, it's still saying 1 month for our very first video that we published.
Okay.
I'm going to click on it. It's obviously been a little more. So yeah, we posted our first video 28 January 2021. So we're at 19 March right now. So a little over 50 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what's changed in your life since that time frame?
Oh man, 50 days going by is crazy that it's been by so fast, because a lot of people don't know this, but I'm still on terminal leave. So I'm not completely out processed from the Air Force yet. I am learning a new job and trying to master that. And it's going through all the medical stuff with Devin. He had,
oh, that's right.
Yeah, so we had just finished his brain surgery right when we started this channel. So
that's right.
Yeah, man, it's been so crazy. Yeah.
How is he doing?
He's doing great. He's doing great. He's fully recovered. He can't even really tell that he had a brain surgery at all.
Oh, he is such a tough kid.
Yeah, he's for the audience, he's 13 years old. And he's a little bit on the small side for a 13-year-old boy. And he's got a lot of other medical stuff going on with him, but he went under the knife, 4 January.
Yeah.
And was in the hospital for a few days, and then me and him stayed home for a couple weeks because they didn't want him going back to school right away. And then it was right after he went back to school, a week after that, we started this channel up.
Yeah.
Because I cannot go any amount of time without abusing myself.
Yes. I know that feeling. Not the way.
What? There's peace and quiet? Screw that.
I need to be going crazy busy.
I need to get after it. I got to show the crowd this cool thing before our light effect ends. So the light is coming into my room where I'm recording at, and I can do this. I am your ruler.
That is awesome. And that's from the light. That's obviously from the light that's shining on you. It matches the window. It matches the screen. It's awesome.
It does. It looks cool. So yeah, we've talked about a lot of different things. We've come a long ways from our first 3 episodes that we recorded all at once in this little office I'm sitting in.
That's right.
And we all kind of look back at that like, ew.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we've gotten
Yeah,
a
that
lot
one was
better.
bad.
Yeah,
I
we've
think
gotten a
it's
lot
just
better.
going to get better and better as we
Sure.
keep going. So,
Yeah.
and if they keep producing content out there,
I
for us to
really
talk
liked
about.
the episode with Melissa. I mean, and Melissa's my friend, so I'm partial.
Yeah.
But like I really enjoyed that episode. And for people that don't know, like I always watch the episode after I finish editing just to make sure I didn't screw anything up. So I had the most enjoyment watching the Melissa episode because I think the conversation was just fun. It was a fun conversation. You enjoyed it.
She's so smart. Yeah, I did. It was very good.
Yeah.
She is a smart lady.
So if you had to pick an episode that wasn't that one, because I stole it already, what's been your favorite episode?
Honestly, our questions episode to each other.
That was a cool one.
Yeah, I really like that one.
Why'd you like that one?
Just, I think it was so natural. And it was just, it was interesting learning. I mean, we've been friends forever, it seems like, and I didn't know half the crap we talked about until we put it online. But I thought that was good. And then that I want to say Freaked Out Friday, but it's not Fired Up Friday right after that.
Stay on brand, Kristina.
I'll get like logo things made for that.
Right? Fired Up Friday.
where we were laughing because it was a serious thing, but oh my God, it was hard. I had to do a couple takes because I was laughing and it was not a laughing matter.
Yeah.
You were funny. That was hilarious.
So. Well, and it's like I told the people last Friday, like when I do those Fired Up Fridays, it is meant to be a little bit funny.
Yeah.
It's meant to break up a serious topic with a little bit of comedy and humor. But I really am actually angry too.
Yeah. Well, you can see it in your eyes.
Yeah.
So you kind of wear your emotions on your sleeve a little bit when you get upset.
Yeah, that's kind of NCO humor. For those of you that don't know, an NCO is a non-commissioned officer. I was a senior non-commissioned officer in the Air Force. And you learn that pretty early on of how to act like you're really upset. You know what I mean?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We would always do this thing, man. I remember when I first started, it was probably when I really got started getting called into like the big meetings, you know, when we were really dealing with like serious personnel issues. I was probably an E6, so that's a tech sergeant. And, you know, I got called into some of them when I was a staff sergeant too, but I got called in regularly when I was an E6 to these meetings. And there'd be some kid that did some dumb shit on the weekend, you know. And, you know, we'd have a meeting beforehand of, all right, we got to call this dipshit in. We got to talk to him. What are we going to say to him, you know? And we'll go over what we're going to say, you know, and one girl or guy is going to lead the meeting, you know, and kind of be the fist of iron or the knife hand, as we like to call it.
Right.
So we would always do that, you know, and we'd sit there. I got a big old ant crawling around on my table. Sorry, squirrel moment. So we'd do that and we'd call the guy in, and, you know, some master sergeant or whatever at the time would just like lay into this guy and be like, blah, 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 you know. And then we'd send him out. Get lost. Get out of our office. And then they close the door. Sorry, sir, you know. And then we'd all just laugh. And the guy that was the lead, he'd be like, so how'd I do?
Oh, no.
So it's a little bit of an act, but sometimes you need that and sometimes you don't. Yeah. Sometimes it's just a conversation of, hey, buddy, you're really screwed up this week. What happened?
Yeah.
You know,
put fire on their butts. You
really got to know your people, man, when it comes to that. Like there's some guys that if I call them into the office and I'm like, hey, bud, you had a tough week, man. You made some bad choices. What are you going to do better next week? You know, like that's all they need. And they're like devastated that I even talked to them about their mistakes. They're like, oh my God, my boss knows I made a mistake.
Yep. Those are the good ones to have. I mean, those are the, you know,
sometimes they're not that easy to manage though, because any little time you come in there and correct them even a little bit, it can crush them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So if they're learning a new task, a lot of times you got to be really careful with those folks, because if you come in and you're like, "Hey, man, you're doing it this way, but you could do it this way," and it's just like a
Oh,
technique thing.
yeah.
Like they'll take that to heart, and they'll
Yeah.
be like, "Oh, like
Yeah.
I'm not doing it perfect."
Yep.
Yeah, dude, you've been doing it for 2 weeks. You're not doing it perfect.
Or you didn't say it exactly how they wanted to hear it. I'm that
Yeah,
person, honestly. So
yeah.
I will beat
So
myself up and then pick what you say. So
see, it's funny
yeah.
that you are that person, and you're like,
Uh-huh.
"Oh yeah, those people are easy to manage because that's
Yeah. Yeah.
that's you, right?" Like
That's me. Yeah.
for me, it's the same for me because I kind of like to manage people like me,
Yeah.
and I can take an ass to, and it's fine. Like
Hmm.
if somebody comes to me and they're like, "Dude, you really screwed up, man," and they're like, "What the fuck were you thinking about? What were you even doing?"
Yep.
I know, boss, that was dumb.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, that's always been me. I do kick myself around a little bit. I don't get over it quickly,
Yeah.
but I also don't get my feelings hurt by my boss chewing my butt. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I
See,
just see
mine
it as
is
like he's doing his job or whatever.
I can manage up bosses that are very vocal more than I
Hmm.
can a silent boss. So
Yeah.
if they are passionate, I say passionate. But if they're like, and I work for some very, very passionate people
Hmm.
that lose their brains over things, but I can manage that. What I had a hard time was working for a boss who's quiet
Yeah.
and doesn't manage. I mean, so to me, that was scarier. I'd rather you tell me everything you got. You know what I mean? I don't want to sit there
Hmm.
and because then I start overthinking everything. And that's when that bad type A comes out. Am I doing something wrong? You question
Yeah.
everything. So, but,
It wasn't actually really late until my career when I finally learned like my emotional responses as a leader
mm,
can affect people very seriously.
yeah,
Which I wish I would have learned that much, much earlier, because I made some very serious mistakes as a leader. Because I have a tendency when somebody comes and they tell me, "Hey, boss, we effed up this or we effed up that," I kind of hit the roof for a minute because I'm like, why am I just hearing about this? Or,
right.
how can you make that mistake? That mistake is unacceptable. That's like the one mistake we can't do. And even if I'm fairly calm about it, like I am right now,
Right.
I've been told like I'm pretty intense. So like some of my folks, they even this tone right now, if I'm like, how in the world did we do that?
Yeah,
They're
they
like
freak out.
crushed. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep.
So I learned late in my career that you can't have emotional responses very often.
Yep.
You have to save those up for when they're appropriate, and they're not appropriate very often.
No, no, no. It's funny, everybody's leadership. Mine's totally different. I had a guy and um, run a very, very expensive piece of equipment into an electric. He forgot to put down the boom on it,
Oh.
and he called me. He had to call me. I was his boss, and I was just like, I said, "So you having a bad day?" That's how I managed it, and he's like, "Yes." But it was a total mistake. I mean, he's never done
Right.
it before. I mean, if it was over and over and over again, I think I'd lose my mind.
Right.
But to as much as I can lose my mind,
Right.
but for the main part, that's how I manage it. Just like someone, I'd expect them to manage me a little bit. But
Mhm.
yeah. And there's sometimes I wish I would have been a little bit more aggressive because people tend to think you're weak, honestly, if you're not right at the beginning. So, and then you just have to learn who those folks are, I suppose. But
You probably read a lot about that in the dichotomy of leadership that I gave you.
yes,
Yeah.
yep,
Yeah.
yeah.
that book, man, both of those books really changed the game for me. I wish I would have had those books like early on. They should be mandatory reading for
Managers.
leaders. Yeah.
Yeah.
Leaders at any level, really. Even if you're coming into a company early on, I think you should have to read those books, like, because you're eventually going to be a leader.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
and start picking out the stuff that the old heads above you are doing wrong, and don't do that stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Because I know I did a bunch of stuff. I did a bunch of stuff as a young leader. I think we talked about it before. I sewed on staff sergeant at 21 years old. That's very young to be
it is.
leading anybody.
Well, geez, you started young, as we learned. Anyway, at 17.
Yeah, extremely young. But this whole episode took kind of a leadership turn to it, which is cool.
It did.
That's cool.
That's something we do. We just kind of jumble, and it kind of goes in the direction it needs to.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. But we're gonna keep this one short, and we got some plans. We got some booze to drink.
Yes.
Yeah. So
in like 30 minutes, so I got to get on it.
Yeah, gotta get after it.
That's right.
All right. So we'll end it there. We got a couple of things upcoming. We got some plans for maybe it might even turn into a series of episodes about human trafficking.
Yeah.
And it's a very serious topic. We're going to take it very seriously. We're going to do our research. It's not a fun topic by any means, but it's one that it
doesn't
touches,
get talked about.
Right.
Enough.
Exactly. We feel like it's not getting talked about enough. So we want to talk about it a little bit, put some stuff out there, put some information out there. And we're going to, like I said, take it very seriously. So that will probably come up maybe next week, but we're going to take our time. So you'll see it when you see it, but we're doing our research now.
Yeah.
So look forward to that. I guess as much as you can look forward to that kind of conversation.
Right. Yeah.
But have a great weekend. Do the safety brief, Kristina.
Oh, yeah. And be safe out there. Take care of each other.
No. That's not the safety briefing.
I know.
Don't drink and drive. Don't take anyone out of the population, and don't add anybody to the population. Use condoms, you animals.
The weekend.
It's the weekend.
Be smart.
Be smart. We'll see you later. Have a plan. Thank you for joining I Plead the First. Like, share, subscribe. Kristina, sign off.
I'm leaving. Bye, guys.
We'll see you later.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
I could really use a change of scenery. Yeah. Everybody smoking all the greenery. Yeah. Close the match 'cause they were handed down to me. But I'm still fly, I know. I'm still fly,